Welcome back, anglers. I'm the Survivalist, and we return to the angler called Wild, or called Wild the Angler. I can't remember which one of the two it is. So we made it up to the photo challenge for Emerald Plateau Silver Rank. We're trying to catch a Silver Rank Gold Trout. Haven't had too much luck so far. We did catch a Gold Rank Golden Trout and a Silver Rank Rainbow, as well as I think like an odd mountain whitefish here or there. But yeah, I'm just probably going to have to keep trying to figure out which bait to use. I think a hook size of 8 is proper for the Golden Trout. It's all going to just come down and trying to figure out what is the correct bait for what we're aiming for. Or it may even be we just have to let the line and hook sit in the water for long enough, too. Well, yeah, after this is done, we're probably going to look at taking quite a trip off to the Silver Strand stuff, which is all, I think, kind of like up in this sort of area. Well, that's kind of the core. I was just hoping I could move the cursor faster, but like all over here is more like Silver Strand. We're going to just keep working on some of the challenges. Again, the angler, it's much better structured to keeping your attention to keep going along slowly but surely through it. And it's just kind of a few little more quality of life things I'd like to see is, again, if you go to inspect here, maybe you will get, like, hook size ranging of smallest to largest, or even, like, one extra small, one extra big, just to kind of give you some variety in there, trying to figure it out. I'm trying to think of what else I can try here. It does say they go for spinner, so I may try that in a little bit after we've let this sit for long enough. Like, I don't know if the angler actually has a thing where as long as you have a bait and line in the water, eventually something will strike, or it is the case of you have to have it matching to something, and there is a set period where either something will strike, or there's just no point of it being in the water. I know when it comes to video-wise, I'm still trying to figure out my point of, like, diminishing returns for how long to leave it's sitting in the water before I do pull it in. I'm kind of leaning right now at 3 to 5 minutes for, like, the time frame, just because if something is going to happen, I feel like it would probably be within that range. And if not, then that's when we pull it back in, swap out, and try different stuff. But yeah, overall, the angler's kept my attention much better now than it did beforehand with the first release of the game. I still feel like the smartest move would have been when the angler first released, put it out into early access. At least that way there's a little more understanding of, okay, it's got some work being done through and such. I can understand the early access, like, I'm trying to think of, like, I don't want to say identity, but I'm trying to think of how it would be. It's not exactly the trait. I guess early access circumstances can vary a lot, and it sometimes is a red flag to see on certain games or projects. But in other times, it actually ends out really well. It all depends, I think, on kind of having a bit of an educated guess for what the title is when it releases in early access. Like, some success stories I've seen and even covered on the channel, Long Dark, Subnautica. I'm trying to think of what else. What else has been early access that I've picked up? I want to say Slime Rancher as well. But I don't know if that actually came out as like a full release, and then it just got nice content updates added to it, or it was like early access title release. I'm trying to remember, but early access mileage does definitely vary. As much as I'd like to say there are specific red flags to watch out for and not go for, I can't really say there are any. It really can sometimes just come down to, like, gut feelings of, yeah, this will get continuous development to eventually get full release, or this is just dropped as is for the buck and nothing's going to happen with it. It's all kind of a shot in the dark, but you can kind of at least go off of what you get for the early access releases of how it is. And I do think the angler should have taken that route. But it didn't, and I think the PC release definitely suffered from it. The console releases, I actually don't know how those are going. I mean, considering, like, the post-console release and stuff that I covered the series with, if it did come out as it has... Basically, when I started covering this post-console series, if that is the same level it was at for, like, console releases, I think it did much better. But I admit I'm not... Okay, yes, you know what? I've got nothing. I'm going to pull that back in and switch this out. I have no real frame of reference to go off of for how it's doing on consoles or how people are enjoying it there. I know playing with a gamepad or controller, it feels a lot better too than it was mouse and keyboard. But I think that's also because when I played with mouse and keyboard, I had the game still... you had to use your mouse functions for a lot of like the specific retrieval options. Like, when it came to, as we see the bottom left there, the twitching to bring in, that was a little bit weird to do. Same with when it would come to stuff like, say, trying to do jigging, or... what was the other one? I can't remember. Oh, well, there's something. It's not too big. It's, I think, a trout of some kind. Is that our golden? No, that's an O-ring. When we want to get the golden, we can't. And when we want to get the O-ring, we can't. But the two will happily appear when we're not after them. But yeah, the only method that still feels a little weird is the stop and go. I think that's more just like personal stuff of my... See, I don't think I have ADHD, but I definitely do have a short attention span at times. And try and keep track of the stop and go thing is something with that little bar that I get screwed up with steadily at. But yeah, the Angler does feel like it's come a lot of... Not so much a long way in content it offers, but in the quality of life changes that have been done to it since its first release. Because, I mean, content updates... The only real extra there's been to, like, fishing... are new maps with Troll Spirit and the Spain one. And I can't even really say bottom fishing, because, to be honest, bottom fishing is basically just the same as float fishing. And it's just that you're targeting a different species with it. Now, that does bring into the thing of, like, will we ever see something like fly fishing to the game? I feel like eventually we may, but I also don't know, like, what aspects of it I really would want to see when it comes to fly fishing. Like, I think if you're going to add that as an... Ooh, this might be our golden. The color looks quite a bit different. There we go. Okay, that's our silver golden trout. We'll release you back out. And that was another photo challenge done. Yeah, like, for fly fishing... I feel like if you're going to add it, you can also give the map much more substance to it too. Like, you're going to specific locations, trying to find specific materials or additions or stuff to make the flies out of. So it might be one of those ones that's a bit more of a larger update, but it could help flesh out the game with how it does feel like so many parts of this map are just kind of filler to get from lake or water body to water body. Actually, you know what? Let me take a quick check here. I don't know if there is a fast travel point here and I just didn't unlock it, or it is a case of this is just like a remote on its own. And that's all there is to it. As it kind of feels like that could be the case here.
View, ain't it?
There we go.
Don't matter where you are, can hardly miss it. What you're seeing here is what I saw every weekend growing up. It's what my pop and my pop-pop saw working away. It's what the Nez Perce, Blackfoot, and Shoshone saw as they lived and breathed and loved under that same big sky. It's hard not to feel connected when you feel nothing but awe at the majesty of Mother Nature. Where you're standing, so many have stood before you, and these mountains have stood here longer still. They're older than the oldest of man's tales, and will outlive every last one of us.
Yeah, like, I will admit, the graphics are really nice in that, but graphics don't make a game. The gameplay does, and the structure to it, and I do admit that like, even with me not having a lot of hours into the angler, it feels like the gameplay is just not really going to change all that much from what I've already experienced. I'll be able to get stronger rods to let me catch bigger fish, but it will just be the same loop of how it has been going. At least, again, trying to figure out another fishing type. I mean, there is jighead that I haven't done much of yet that eventually we probably will get into. It's just that I have to be able to pick up everything for that. Okay, let's see. Silver strands. Okay, that's, for that. I have no idea where that is. It's by a waterfall somewhere. That's Ruby River Range, Ruby River Range. That's Silver Strand Gold. There we go. Let's go for another Lake Trout. That gave us a pretty good fight last time we were after it. So I figure we can try spending another episode working at that to see how it goes. I'm also guessing there might be a little something with the audio capture lagging behind, but we'll find that out after this is all done. Okay, there's the vehicle. Oh. Oh yeah, that was another thing is I think they added third-person camera to the game now. And there should be better hairstyles or more hairstyle options when it comes to the character avatars too. Which is pretty handy considering like the weird troll hair that, well, truth be told, I think all characters had. It's just I know like from, as I've been covering the series, me holding the fish up has looked super weird. Just because of like how much of a little gremlin it seems to be. And the one thing that I would like a little bit more when it comes to these, this third-person camera, is that it's angled a little higher so you can see more immediately in front of you. It's like, truth be told, I might as well just stick to this view for driving. So yeah, here's the water body here. There is the little dock just up ahead on the shore there that we can rent the boat from. And then we can go out and try to get that lake trout. Yeah, leave that there. Lake Iridium. Now that we actually have the right hook sizes as well as the largest, as well as a rod that can handle the fish, we should have better luck going out here trying for one. I'm pretty sure I reported this. Yeah, it's not making any noise, so I've probably reported that. So let's get the bottom fishing one set up here. Yeah, we need the inhale. We need to go heavy duty for this sucker. Hook size of 4. And I think we just used, yeah, I think it was just artificial corn we used. Oh, that's going into real deep water. Almost 50 meters down. Actually, truth be told, that might be too much line out for our reel. See, I think I can only go to like 75 meters out. Okay, you know what? Actually, let me retrieve that, and I'm just going to do a small cast out. As yeah, it's about 50 meters deep here, so I think it is smarter to, instead of cast really far out, so that way I have a lot of line length lost, not only for the depth, but also distance out. This gives me a little bit more room of play if I do get a lake trout on, and it does take some line from us. Which more than likely it will do. But But truth be told, I think the angler, again, it's kind of a great way, quality of life-wise. Content-wise, there can always be some more additions to it. The biggest thing still feels like the map just doesn't really have enough out it for how much room it takes up and how much distance there is to go for things. Like, again, the point of you can maybe find baits at certain spots as you're just driving about, going from fishing spot to fishing spot, or maybe even, like, the raw materials to try making your own fishing equipment, like your own rods or such. Just something that kind of makes it so that way this big map doesn't feel as devoid outside of just trying to get to the different water bodies. I don't know, it's something I'm not sure if there would be any suggestions you guys also have to help add or flesh out to it, but I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that comes right to mind, but other than, like, again, new methods of fishing, not overly. And actually, you know what? I should check and make sure the lake trout do actually... Yeah, they will go for the artificial corn. Just want to make sure. So we'll just wait around, see if anything does strike. Actually, I wonder... I was also just thinking of, like, with having gone into the handbook check, what if you also had, when it comes to, like, inspecting the fish, they give you all the suggested bait things, but as you catch them with those baits, that clues you in on this is a high desired bait or a low desired bait. Like, you can catch the fish using this, but there are other baits it would prefer going after. And you can kind of, like, fill out your handbook that way, too. Although, I guess it doesn't... Again, it's not really much of adding to the gameplay itself, but it's more to, I guess, like, the support systems for trying to make the gameplay a little more targetable. Okay, what else could we do to the angler? We talked about making the map a little bit more useful, or have some actual use. We talked about another fishing style with fly fishing. Or lure making, I guess could be another one. Or like, what else we could do for the map? Huh. Well, I did talk a little bit about, like, if they add invasive species and giving them a little bit more of a role where you actually take them out of the environment, hand them over to the warden. But what else could be done? I guess the only thing is try and give the fish more behavior, but I mean, truth be told, like, there are certain fish that I'm sure do have more specific behaviors when they're on a line and how they fight. Like, for instance, the bit of fishing I've done, I know pike really will fight you pretty hard towards the end. Well, actually not to the end, but just in general. But I guess truth be told, there's only so many behaviors you can really have for fish that they kind of probably fit into their own little groupings for what's on the lines. I was kind of hoping we would have had something, even if it wasn't a lake trout, just something try to strike what we got in there right now, but nothing going at the moment. You know what, let me pull this out. I'll try switching the bait for regular corn. And we'll send that to the bottom and see if that has any better luck. Still going down. Almost hit bottom. There it is. Yeah, truth be told, I guess, I mean, when it does come to fishing games, the angler kind of has done everything I can really think of for, like, how it would be. It's just more so expanding on different ways of reaching said goal of landing a fish that come to mind for any additions or more updates. Everything else is more quality of life or support around that loop. So I can't really say there's anything too much I really... Oh, there we go. Can think of or would be after. Okay, whatever it is... Okay, it's not anything too big, because we seem to be pulling this up without too much fight to it. Which, I mean, it is... Oh, maybe. There we go, it's starting to take a bit of line from us. I'm not... It might be a lake... It could be a lake trout, but it could be something else, too, because... Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. Okay, whatever it is, as I'm trying to pump the rod, we seem to be losing line. So I gotta be careful how I fight this in, but I'm going to reduce the break a little bit. It's still fighting around the same area. I almost want to... see... Again, I don't have the experience to really be able to say what it is we're up against. Look, we have been able to get it a little bit off the bottom. Or, okay, maybe not. It's just been swimming through different depths of water, actually. Yeah, I think I am going to have to try increasing the friction brake a bit. Okay, that's a little too high. We'll try at 65% and see. Okay, was getting close to 75 there. This is... Ah, but it's taking out so much line on us. Yeah, no, it's just going to snap the line. There's nothing I can really do here. Ah... Like, that is something that I also think the challengers maybe should be taking in mind, too, is also what species they list. Because how do you exactly have a... They tell the player to go after silver rank lake trout here, when even, like, this rod, which is fairly up there for, like, price and that, isn't strong enough to handle it. I'm going to reduce it down to hook size of 5 and see if maybe that gives us better chance at one. We'll just try and see. It might have just been... That's actually something I admit I don't know feedback for on, like, how best to fight the fish in the game, too. Like, when should you be trying to hold and pump the rod? When should you be trying to reel in? I admit I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to that firsthand to say what you're exactly supposed to feel for. But we'll just try once more and see what happens. But if I can't get it this episode, we'll probably switch up to some of the other Silver Strand challenges that there are. Although I'm trying to think of what part there was probably stretched or stressed too far. I think it might have been the reel, because, like, if I take a look, I think we're using the scope, which only has 4 kilogram for, like, the max drag on it, and strength is only, like, 2.5. Yeah, again, everything that I think of for, like, possible updates for that to the anglers, just to make the game a little bit more accessible and quality of life improvements. Nothing too much is coming to mind for how to, like, adjust gameplay. But we'll leave it sit for another minute or two, and if nothing strikes, we'll end the video here. Actually, I should check. How am I doing for currency? Back at 1,500. I think we need 2,200 in order to unlock a stronger rod. Although, truth be told, I think we might want a stronger reel first? Not sure. But we might have our second chance at a trout here. Yeah, see, I'm basically just still fighting around the same distance as I have been. Still taking line out on me, and when I do try to pump the rod, it seems like I'm actually just losing line rather than anything I'm gaining. So I don't know what to be the best the best approach in this situation. Like, should I be pumping the rod sooner or later? Like, it's... I'm getting it held there, but if I do that... Yeah, I don't know what I can really do here to try bringing it in, because I'm... Okay, I'm not actually... There we go, now I'm actually reeling in, like... Yeah, I don't think that little icon over... Everything in the bottom right actually does anything besides letting you know that you have... You're trying to reel in. Which you already would know because you're, again, you have to control the buttons to do so. But I'm not getting any line back from this sucker. And I don't think my equipment is ready to go after the lake trouts. If that's even what this is on the other end, because again, I have no idea. Now, maybe that's what I need to do, is... When I have a period where it's not really fighting, pump the rod all the way up. Like, yeah, no, never mind. I was going to say, like, it stopped really fighting there for a bit. Okay, it stalled out at 70... Okay, there's our... Oh, was kind of our opening. See, another thing, too, is it feels like the fish have, like, almost unlimited stamina at times. Yeah. I don't think we're able to take on the lake trout. It just seems like they're too strong a fish for my gear. So, yeah, probably have to say that's something that could probably be adjusted to, is look at, like, silver rank lake trout should not be at the same level you're trying to catch, like, say, a gold rank yellow perch, but at least we got to try for them now. I do think the bottom fishing is a good addition to the game, because we didn't really have anything to let you target really deep water, so it's nice to have, but it also is a case of be ready to gear and grind up for it. Well, we're going to bring this episode of The Angler to a close right here, and I'll figure out what we'll do next weekend when the next weekend arrives. Thank you all very much though for joining me on this episode of the series. If you liked the video, be sure to give a like. And if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, share in the comments right down below. Until I see you all next video or episode, anglers and survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy angling.